I want to talk to you honestly for just a moment. If you're new to real estate and you're trying to decide where to start, I need you to hear this clearly without noise, without hype, without ego. Your first step in real estate should not be buying a rental property or doing a fix and flip. Okay. I said it. Not because those strategies don't work or that they're bad, just because most times people do them out of order. And when things are out of order, even good things can hurt you. I've seen too many people step into real estate full of hope only to walk away discouraged, without money, not because they weren't capable, but because they started in the wrong place. So let's slow this down and talk through why. Most people come into real estate chasing stability or freedom. They want peace, they want margin, they want control over their future for generational wealth. But the moment they start learning, they're handed two options: either buy or rent a house or flip a house. Those sound responsible, they sound grown up, they even sound like progress. But what's rarely explained is that both of those paths assume you already have something most beginners don't have yet: margin. Margin in money, margin in experience, and margin in emotional bandwidth to deal with what's coming up next. Without margin, every unexpected problem becomes heavy, and every real estate deal always brings unexpected problems. Anytime you're remodeling a property or doing anything in a real estate transaction, you have to have margin. Let's talk about rental properties just first. Rentals are often described as passive income, but passive is relative. When you're new, real estate rental properties, not really just passive, it's sensitive. You're tying up capital, you're taking on debt, you're committing to long-term responsibility, and the return, especially early on, is usually super modest. A few $100s a month can feel good on paper, but when something breaks, when a tenant leaves, when expenses rise, that margin disappears really fast. Rentals are powerful when you already have cash flow elsewhere, like a substantial amount of active income. You talk about passive, but you need active to actually support having a rental property, especially the first few that you're going to acquire. If you're early in your journey, you don't need preservation. Like you don't need to try to think, how can I make money for loans? You need to make money now, because investing in real estate is expensive. When you're going out to buy a rental property, again, if you're only earning a couple $100s a month, if you have a $2,000 repair that needs to happen, there's your cash flow for the entire year, or $3,000 or $4,000, or you need to replace a roof. You need active income. And so wholesaling is such a great way to replace the active income that you may have at a job. You have experience from flipping the house. You can talk to investors, learn what they want, learn why they buy what they buy in the areas that they buy in, right? Now you have a real sense of what you can do next. But the first step is getting active income that can help you on your journey. Wholesaling is not the end all be all by no means, but understanding how you can enter the game to earn a high amount of money in terms of fees for assigning these deals to other investors will help you in your journey to buy rental properties. Okay. You shouldn't worry a lot about being passive when you first jump into the game. You need to effectively get deals, and buying rental properties, you have so much money and so much more risk for such a small return that your start could set you back by years. All right, y'all, let me pause right here. If this conversation feels more grounded than what you usually hear around real estate or real estate wholesaling, take a moment and like this video. It helps it reach other people who need clarity and not just noise. And if you want more conversations like this, just practical, honest, and experience-based, subscribe to the channel, share what you wish, man. I would love for you to share other content. I have a lot of stuff out there, and yeah, I wish I would have understood all this stuff earlier. I hope it helps you. All right, let's keep going. All right, now fix and flips are a different kind of way. Look, they move faster, they promise these large payouts, they feel decisive, but flips require precision. They require accurate numbers, reliable people, and emotional steadiness under pressure. When something goes wrong, and listen to me, a lot of things go wrong on flips, and something usually does, again, it doesn't just cost time, it costs peace. But for someone who is still learning the basics of deal structure, valuation, negotiation, and how a flip can turn into a lesson that's far more expensive than it needs to be, this shouldn't be the strategy you start with. Flips aren't wrong, they're just demanding. And demand should come after development, not before it. See, When you go into a fix and flip, you're going to buy the property, take a loan out, which sounds sweet, but those loans have payments, and managing contractors, you really need experience for. It really slows people down in their journey so much trying to fix and flip too early, because if you can learn to get in and out of a deal, get cash, and have no responsibility, you can scale whatever it is you want to do a lot faster when you have cash. Stick to earning the cash. The moment you start flipping, I see it all the time, it becomes a distraction and pulls you away from what got you there in the first place. There being knowing how to find good deals and earn cash from them. You can see other investors do it. Just sell the deal, acquire enough cash, and don't even be in a position where you need income from a flip. Like, you're wholesaling. We sell to flippers. Let's earn our cash. Let's move on to the next deal and build whatever it is you want to do. If you got active income, a lot of times doing a fix and flip, it's a lateral move. It's just more active income, except it slows you down and you have way more responsibility. So if you are able in your first year, 2 years getting started, like, I would just consider wholesaling, earning the fees, acquiring properties through wholesaling. Why would you make a lateral move, go to flipping, and take on way more responsibility? Besides, again, we sell to flippers. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so enter wholesaling. Wholesaling is often misunderstood because it doesn't look impressive at first glance, but it teaches you the right things. It teaches you how to understand property values, solve problems, navigate real situations with real people. It also does this without asking you to risk everything. Wholesaling builds skills before pressure. It builds confidence before complexity. It builds cash before commitment. It allows you to participate in the market while you're still learning. That matters. Here's the principle I want you to remember. Growth happens best in order. Learn, then earn, scale, and then preserve. When you reverse that order, you feel overwhelmed. When you honor it, things start to compound naturally. Wholesaling first, then flips, then rentals. Not because you're playing small, but because you're playing wisely. It's important to understand. Me, myself, when I got started in wholesaling 5 years ago, my intention was to scale intentionally. Okay. Start out with wholesaling. It helped me develop a skill to utilize real estate with a strategy where I could just have an ATM to do all the other strategies like fixing and flipping and buying rental properties. As I said, it is a strong supplement for generating cash in real estate. When you identify how to find a motivated seller, you can do whatever you want with it. So many people convolute what it's like to actually understand the skill set of a wholesaler. It's way bigger than just being a wholesaler. If you want to get funding and go out and work with lenders and go to the bank or whatever it is you want to do, you're going to be able to have an advantage on a lot of people in the marketplace, because as a wholesaler, you learn how to find deals. That's what makes a wholesaler money, is being able to find good properties for cash buyers and investors and people who want to live in the property. When you develop this skill set and you know how to find sellers, talk to them and get them to sell their property at a discount, well, you just became a really good investor once you can acquire funding. And so you get to choose what you do with the deal now, right? You can either wholesale it out for a fee if you don't like it, it's too much work, or you got other rehabs, or you can just buy it yourself, right? You can close on it, turn it into a fix and flip, or turn it into a rental property or Airbnb or a midterm rental or whatever strategy it is you want to do long term. But acquiring that asset at the lowest possible number because you're going direct to seller is the best skill set to have, regardless of what comes next, right? And so that's why I say you're starting backwards. If you work with those strategies, it just doesn't make sense. If you're new, don't rush to prove anything. This isn't about impressing people. It's about staying in the game long enough to build something real. Start where the learning is the safest, where the risk is manageable, where the lessons are clear. If this helped you, leave a comment and tell me where you're at in your journey. And if you're here for substance over noise, you're in the right place. Appreciate y'all so much. Like and subscribe. Let's go.